Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon, one of my personal favorite movies, starring Tiamat, Vanity of Princess Vanity 6, and Julius Carry III, Shonuff. This was a good movie. It was like 1985. It's like an hour and a half long. It was a really good movie. Not long, not too long, but 1985, back in the 80s, hour and a half was about the average, I guess, for movies. You've got Bruce Leroy, an African American who is enamored with the Asian culture. He's a martial artist that has reached essentially the pinnacle of his ability. And his master tells him, hey man, I've made you as good as you can get. So he wants to be better. He's like, nah, you told me before that when I was like perfect, my body would glow with this energy, and I'm not glowing, so I'm not perfect. I got more stuff to do. And he's like, nah, dog, you're pretty much as good as you can get. So he decides he needs a new master. So he goes on a quest for a new master so he can learn more. He can become better. He runs into a woman named Laura Childs, and it's Vanity. She's got a television show. She's a TV personality, and she does kind of like a dance show where they dance, play music, stuff like that. And there's an evil record producer who wants her to play his music, and she doesn't want to. So he sends some goons to get her and rough her up and give her that business. And instead, Bruce Leroy shows up, and he's karate chopping and kicking and karate sizing everybody, Bruce Leroy style. Beats everybody up, saves the girl. She decides, well, look, I gotta hire you as a bodyguard because this dude is tripping, and I know he's coming back. But Leroy doesn't want to do it. He wants to think about it for a little while. Sub-story. Shonuff, the Shogun of Harlem, is a tough guy. Just got back on the scene. I've always assumed he just got out of jail. He's a villain. He likes beating people up. And he said he just got back. So maybe, they never said where he came back from, but for some reason I always figured, oh, this dude just got out of jail. Karate chopping people in the big house. But he's back on the scene, and he says the scene, and he wants to prove his dominance in Harlem. And they tell him there's only one guy that can deal with you, man, and that's Leroy. So he has to publicly humiliate Leroy. So through the movie, he goes through several motions to try to get Leroy into an altercation with him. Finally does it. Turns out that the guy, the producer that wants the girl, has to deal with Leroy because he's her bodyguard. So he hires Shonuff, who wants to fight him anyway, to rough him up. So it all works. It's like a triangle. You know, all of these parts connect. So the dude, Eddie Arcadian, the producer, hires Shonuff to beat up Leroy so he can get to Laura Childs. Simple enough plot. I scratch your back, you scratch my back. Beat that dude up and I'll pay you. Basically what it is. So they get into this big brawl. And Shonuff finally gets his showdown with Leroy. Who's the master? Shonuff. So he finally gets in this fight with Leroy, and Leroy, during the fight, realizes he has not obtained the glow. But Shonuff has. So he's got to deal with that. He fights him, and eventually he figures out that he is the master, because through the whole movie, Shonuff's catchphrase has been, who's the master? Shonuff. Who's the master? He would say that, and his flunkies would say, Shonuff. You know, him, you the master. But it turns out that Leroy was actually the master. So once he comes to his conclusion that he is, in fact, at the pinnacle of his ability, he starts glowing. And he gives Shonuff the business. So it was a good movie. It was a real good movie. back then in the 80s, it was a great movie. I think I saw it at the theater 7 times. So it was a really, really good movie then. And it's the kind of movie today that if I'm flipping through channels and I see it, I'll probably stop and check it out. I've got the movie, so I can watch it whenever I feel like it, but if it just happens to be on, chances are I'm going to stop and watch it. It's a good movie. I always thought that they should have a part 2 to that, or at least a remake, and they might. They might. On the internet, I keep hearing buzzes about maybe they're doing it, so that would be a cool thing. But I liked The Last Dragon. Bruce Leroy catches bullets with his teeth. What's your favorite quote from Last Dragon? Let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, almost forgot. Let's rate this movie. I would give The Last Dragon 7 bags of popcorn. 7 bags of popcorn, because that's what I think about that. So let's talk about your favorite quotes from The Last Dragon. And if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn passport. Get your popcorn passport.